Is silver still a smart buy now that we are a little more than halfway in to 2025? A lot of us who are avid stackers will wholeheartedly believe that, of course, it's still a great time to buy. But at the same time, there are a lot of non believers out there, and I'm going to explain in this video whether or not silver is still worth it in 2025. So let's break it all down. Want to win 100 ounces of American Silver Eagles completely free? Well, JM Bullion is giving away 5 full tubes of 100 coins packed in a custom waterproof Pelican case. There is no purchase necessary, and the giveaway ends September 11th of this year. And if you want to get in on this opportunity, click the link in the description below to enter for your chance to win. And just to be clear, JM Bullion is not sponsoring this channel in any sort of way. This is me just wanting to pass this opportunity along to help you guys out. So don't miss out on this. Click the link in the description and enter for your chance to win 100 ounces of free silver. Hi everybody, and welcome back to yet another video. So let's answer, well, at least we'll try to answer the question of, is silver still a smart buy? Well, I want to start with looking at where silver currently stands right now and compare it to how it's done over the last few years. And right now, the spot price of silver is currently at $36.97, and this is on July 8th of 2025 at the time of this recording. So the price you see by the time that this video comes out might be a little bit different, but I don't think it's going to be much further off from this price. So keep that in mind when you're watching this video. However, if we look back at what it's done year to date, silver has actually gone up 27% so far this year. And if we look in the past decade, or this past decade, it has gone up 106%, essentially doubling where it was at the start of 2020. So right now, silver has done very well if you got started within the past few years. But of course, this isn't the all-time highs. Those who got in maybe at $50 are still have yet to even see any profits, but we are seeing a lot of indications that we may creep back into that area again, if not even exceed it. And the biggest difference, I believe, from what we've seen in years past is just in the last 5 years, we have had a global health crisis that caused massive disruptions like we've never experienced. And as soon as we got out of that, we were seeing a strong uptick in inflation. And quick rant, in my opinion, it was probably one of the, if not the worst and highest levels of inflation that we have ever experienced. Now, I don't want to get into that too much, but essentially, in case you weren't aware, the 8 or 9% growth that was listed in 2022, I really think it was almost 20%, because over the last 30 to 40 years, they have redefined and removed certain and important factors from the CPI that measures inflation. For example, home mortgage cost. And essentially what it does is it makes inflation look better than it should, but in reality it's much worse. And just like how we've seen price manipulation in silver, we see inflation manipulation by the BLS by removing things what they consider, quote, less important. That just dilutes the reality of it all. And I mean, we all know how much more expensive things really feel and are compared to what they were 5 years ago. And it just runs counter to what we've been told versus what we're actually experiencing. But again, if you want to see the changes that they've made, just go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics website. They literally list all the changes that they've made since the 1980s. So if you're interested in it, I suggest you go check that out if you want to know more about it. Okay, back on topic now. Since 2023 up until today, we've seen many global conflicts between, Ukraine, Russia, Israel, Hamas/Iran, and the US almost getting involved, and India and Pakistan for a very quick brief moment. So we're starting to see a hell of a lot of stuff now in the last 5 years. But despite being silver up 106%, gold has been up almost 120% within that same time frame. And in case you don't know this phrase, a lot of us in the stacking community do know this, but there's a phrase that we say, it's called when gold leads, silver follows. And that's typically when the price of gold goes up, silver lags a little bit, but then goes up as well. And it does usually a little bit better in terms of percentages. So I think we've seen gold take the lead, and now we're starting to see silver catch up. And I think right now we're in a very nice middle ground or a sweet spot where it's not overhyped, where you're too late to the party, but it's also not too hated to be disregarded. So I think we're in a place of like a happy medium where if you want to get in, now's the time to do it before maybe in a few years when everyone else decides to get in on it and the price goes up to, let's say, 50 or 60 bucks. And even with everything I just said, silver still makes sense even at around $37 an ounce. It's always going to be a wealth preservation tool, and there's no counterparty risk to it, and you are protecting yourself from certain factors. And the other thing is the barrier to entry is still very low. And I know a lot of people say that their budgets are tight, but I'm willing to challenge and even push back on this because I know that a lot of the ones who are complaining about financial stress still go out and drink on the weekends, eat out at restaurants multiple times per week, and they're just not willing to endure some sort of delayed gratification or sacrifice certain lifestyles to make the purchases necessary that they want to do. And I myself will randomly spend $37 on things that are just not needed. And I constantly think to myself that I could have bought X amount of silver instead. And I'm a little hard on myself for that at times. But again, I'm not trying to call out anyone negatively here, but sometimes self-reflection may be needed, and I'm no exception to that rule. I do it all the time. So what am I doing right now in this current market? Well, a lot of you who know me and been watching this channel for a while and other previous videos, I've mentioned that I like to keep 10% of my net worth in precious metals. And since about a month or so ago, I have hit that goal and I've shifted my focus into paying down some bad debt and attacking the mortgage principal a bit. So that's what I'm currently doing. But I still want to buy, but I'm taking care of other more, I guess, important priorities right now. However, if I were to be buying, I'd still keep the same method that I've talked about many times on this channel, which is dollar cost averaging, buying the lowest premiums possible, and currently sticking to silver. Since the GSR is still at around 90, silver is undervalued compared to gold, in my opinion. So until that ratio shifts down lower, I'm still going all in on silver at this current moment. So should you be buying? Well, no matter what, I would say yes, that you should be. Even if it's something like 1 ounce a month or 1 ounce every 3 months, whatever it is. Sitting on the sidelines waiting for the right moment or to be convinced that this is the right move is just going to put you in the FOMO camp later on down the road. And again, whether you want to start with gold, silver, or something else, I challenge you to get started today with something. Anything. Anything that you can commit to today will help you later on. And in 5 years from now, if you didn't, you'll wish that you got started today. Just like those who are starting out today had wished that they started earlier. So do yourself or your future self a favor and get started into this hobby or investment, whichever you prefer to call it. Today is definitely a good day to get started. So with that being said, guys, do you think that silver is still a smart buy? For me, it's a yes. And are you still stacking, or did you pivot like I did? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye, guys.